Hey adventurers, so I'm going to go over my MBR for the second and third quarters of 2024. A couple caveats to this: I don't know that I'll get to any of these books, and I don't know that I will get to, if I may get to more other than just these books. These are kind of just a couple of books that I would maybe like to try and read in quarters 2 and 3 if possible. It's a very small list. I really don't need to do this video other than that I need more videos, and so I'm going to get as many filmed as I can right now. And so this is one of those ones that I have that I can pre-film and everything like that. So because of that, this is roughly what I am going to attempt to try and read in quarters 2 and 3. And I know that's basically a 6-month period. It is a 6-month period, and that's a long time. But we're going to see what ends up happening. Of course, at the time of filming this, we haven't finished out quarter 1 yet, and in fact it's still January when we are filming this, when I am filming this, so it's 2 months early still. So I don't know if I'll have any holdovers from last month or anything like last quarter or anything like that, but we'll just go with it and pretend that this is what I'm going to be reading or something along those lines. Anyways, that's enough rambling. To start off with, I've got 2 collections of like fairy tales, folk tales from Latin American countries that are entirely in Spanish, and so I want to read both of those if possible. One of them is Folk Stories from the Hills of Puerto Rico, and then the other one is Leyendas Latinoamericanas, and that's got a whole bunch of stories from Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela. So I've got a whole bunch of stories from a whole bunch of different places that I can try here, and they're just mostly as a way to help me continue studying and learning Spanish, as well as learn about the cultures a little bit, as well as learn more folk stories, more myths and legends, because I really enjoy those types of things. So those are 2 of the ones that I would like to try and get to in these quarters 2 and 3. So then we've got The Elementals by Abby Latanzio. This is one that actually the publisher reached out to me and asked if I would like to read and review the book. I said sure, I don't know when I'll get to it though, but one of the things that I want to try and do in 2024, even though my reading is going to be messed up and janky for the rest of the year, is I want to get it to as many of the books that I have been sent by authors or by publishers or whatever for review, my review copies that I've received. As such, this is one of the ones that I want to get to, and it's one of the ones that's actually calling to me the most because it's got a pretty cover and it's about 4 brothers essentially and elemental magic. And so those things all kind of tie together to make me intrigued enough to want to pick this book up. I don't know what I'll think of it. That's the whole point of me reading and reviewing it, is I want to figure out what I think of it after I've read it. But anyways, that is on the list as well, even though it's also been on previous months, MBRs for previous quarters back in 2023. So then I've already mentioned this once, but I don't know when I last mentioned this. I think I mentioned it a couple of times, but one of my plans for 2024 has always been to make this kind of a year of Lewis, meaning I try and read some C.S. Lewis books, and specifically the space trilogy. So I'm in quarters 2 and 3. I want to try for Out of the Silent Planet and Paralandra, which I actually have all 3 of the books in the space trilogy. So I will attempt to be reading those in 2024, and we will see how that goes. I don't know what I'm going to think of them, but I do want to read them and see what I think. I also then have another Redwall that I'm trying to add on to this. What am I saying? I'm trying to read through the entire Redwall series because I want to get those all read and reviewed on the channel. And so one of the ones that I've actually never read in the series, one of the 2 I think that I've never read in the series, is Marlfox, and I do own this one, of course, as you can see since I'm holding it up. And I really want to read this one because it's one that I've never read, and so it's a completely new story that I have no context for. I have no idea what's going to be happening in this book, but I want to read it because it's Redwall and I really like Redwall and I want to continue reading through Redwall. So this is another one that I'm going to try for in quarters 2 or 3. Or 3. Next one I'm going to talk about then is the Big Book of Classic Fantasy. So this is a collection of, or anthology maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. Anthology, yeah, I believe is the correct phrase, of short stories, of classic fantasy short stories or novellas, edited and compiled by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer. And you've watched my book haul. I'm not sure when this video is going up in relation to the book haul. Anyways, I talked about this in the book haul, but This has got a whole bunch of authors, stories from a whole bunch of different authors. On the front it says Mary Shelley, Jules Verne, Oscar Wilde, G.K. Chesterton, E. Nesbit, W.E.B. Du Bois, Franz Kafka, Ryunosuke Akutagawa, Vladimir Nabokov, Karel Čapek, possibly, Zora Neale Hurston, and J.R.R. Tolkien, and many more. And so there's a whole bunch of names of like these classic fantasy authors that I want to try out. And so they're short stories. It's an anthology of short stories that just lots of, or I guess it says it's the ultimate collection, so maybe it's not an anthology, but it's just a whole bunch of classic fantasy authors and a whole bunch of classic fantasy stories. So I may not read it all, I may not even read any of it, but it's one of those ones that I have on this list because this is a fantastic resource for me as somebody who loves classic fantasy and who loves the fantasy as a whole, and I just want to see kind of a little bit more of where we came from as this more classic fantasy genre. Anyways, I do want to read that one, or at least try and read some of it. We'll see what happens with it though. And then the last book that I have for these quarters 2 and 3 is the Wizard Knight by Gene Wolfe. This is comprising The Knight and the Wizard, which is the 2 books in this duology by Gene Wolfe. Of course, this is, I believe it is Arthurian or Arthurian adjacent. I'm not positive because I haven't read it, but I believe it's somehow Arthurian adjacent. I don't know what this is, but anyways, it's Gene Wolfe. I haven't read any Gene Wolfe. I know Liam and Owen both really like Gene Wolfe, and so I want to try it out, but also I'm going to probably I got this book specifically because Liam asked, hey, do you want to read this with me? And so I said, sure, why not, let's do it. So this is one that I'm going to try for. I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect this will be towards the end of quarter 3, because I think that's when I'll be more likely to be able to get to it. I don't know exactly the plan with this, but I do want to read it this year. It is going to be read this year, I just don't know when exactly this year. Anyways, set that aside now, and got some nice floppy books there. Anyways, that is my MBR for quarters 2 and 3, potentially. I don't even know if this is accurate. We will see once I actually get into quarters 2 and 3, but anyways, thank you guys for watching an Erudite adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.